Everybody coming here from Invisible Insights, and I'm here with George Milnick from Premier Millwork in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is like a great place. If you're going to have a business, Virginia Beach is probably where you want to have a business. Today, we're going to talk about three big letters that mean a lot on a lot of levels to a whole lot of people, and it's called FSC. And there's a whole world to FSC that, as a podcast host here on the WPMA Shop Talk, that we're going to talk about today, I don't know a whole lot about, but I'm going to ask some really good questions. And George, this is kind of a second one here. We shot one before, and we talked a whole lot about the WPMA conference coming up. But today we're talking about specifically this value add of FSC and what it means for members in the WPMA. So, George, I'm going to give you the Can you just give me an overview of if I'm a shop guy out there, I don't know what this is or anything like that. Give us an introduction to FSC.
Sure. So FSC stands for Forest Stewardship Council, and it was probably instituted, I would probably say, maybe 10 years plus in our industry. Basically, what happened is it's for sustainability of products in our industry. Okay. So what happened is a group of individuals came together and decided that it would be best that if we started looking towards the future success of the forests and trees, that they form this group that would regulate the way that trees are harvested, how things are planted, how the way that they're planted, and then put into different, end user products, whether it be timber for houses, whether it be particle board for cabinets that we build, or lumber for moldings. And so what happens is they harvest these logs from specified FSC locations, and then they provide what they call a chain of custody. And so you understand and you can follow the chain of custody is from where this material came from, where the log came from, and then it's followed through the timber, the cutting process, the timber process, the drying process, then the manufacturing process, whether it's shredded up and goes into particle board, or it's cut for plies and plywood, or it's kiln dried and sent to me to make moldings. It's incorporated into our products in the industry. And it's a specified thing from the architect. It comes in your specifications. Not every job is FSC certified, but jobs that are specified FSC certified are tracked. And so this chain of custody comes with every product through that line that I was just talking about. And at every step, the chain of custody number is provided. And everybody along the pathway has to have that chain of custody. So me as the end user, when I'm all said and done, and I have to provide at the end of the job, I have to provide my documentation, I have a chain of custody number that's provided along with everything that goes through the shop. And so it's handled differently as well. It's put on separate buggies. We actually mark everything with pink bingo markers so that you understand that that's FSC product. It's isolated in your facility and then tracked as it goes through the system, through the receipt of the materials, through the manufacturing of the materials, through the invoicing of the materials, and through the installation of the materials. So there's a process involved with it, but it's part of this whole new, FSC certification process.
And so what inspired you guys to do that? Because I imagine not everybody does it. So why Premier Millwork?
So I think it helps us stand above our competition. So there's a lot of people, Kevin, that when they get the certification, or when they look at a job that's specified FSC, they run away from it because they don't have the certification. What I found is that in order for me to better my business, that I had to be FSC certified. The thing is, it's very, very costly if you try and do it independently. The great benefit of coming into the WPMA is that the WPMA provides an umbrella under their master chain of custody that allows you to get in, and I don't want to call it pennies on the dollar, but at a steep discount from
Wow.
having to do it by yourself. And so what the WPMA offers is that umbrella cushion financially, because that's a lot of reason why people don't get into it. I can't afford to do it.
Mm.
And again, my thing is you can't afford not to do it. If you want to be, above your competition, it's a great opportunity for, and it's not very expensive to do it when you're under the WPMA. So that's what brought me into it, is to make me stand out above my competition, and then to find the WPMA and be able to come under the umbrella of their chain of custody and provide me my own chain of custody number has just been beneficial for me in the industry.
Wow. So what that basically what it tells me is that, every business is trying to find that differential advantage. What is that thing that sets us apart, that allows us to do things that other people can't do? What's that thing? And it sounds like to me that it does provide you the opportunity for different types of business or elevated types of business. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say. In fact, Kevin, there are a lot of members to the WPMA that are members because of the opportunity to be FSC certified. And what we need to promote in our industry is that this is a great opportunity for them to get that FSC label. And so there's a stamp that comes with that you can promote on your website, that you can promote on your materials. In fact, paper, which is, something that if you look and you buy a ream of paper, it's possible that you'll see on there an FSC, certified sticker or label that shows that it's coming from this chain of custody process.
Wow.
And so the members that come to us that say, hey, I understand that you have the FSC capability to certify me. They've come to us and joined just for that specifically. The other thing is that people say, well, it takes a lot of time to do it. And
Yeah.
what happens, Kevin, is when you do this, is there is some paperwork that needs to be filled out.
Okay.
And so what you have to do is you have to dedicate specific people within your organization that are responsible for handling the different processes that go along. It's not a tedious thing. The setup time of it, or the registration part of it, might take you a day or two. But once you identify those key individuals within your organization, and the person that's going to fill out all the paperwork knows who those people are, the paperwork goes pretty quickly. And the
Wow.
WPMA helps with that and coaches you along the process to make it as easy as possible. We were members of the FSC certification program and dropped it. And we dropped it because we weren't finding it specified as frequently. I'm starting to see more of an uptick in it, and we recertified. And so we are now certified again, FSC. And so it's not a difficult process, but one that's going to better your business.
So I guess the question I would have, if I'm a shop person out there, and I'm looking at doing this, I'm thinking like, how do all the nuts and bolts work? Does the WPMA come alongside me through this process? I mean, it's not something they just do exactly for me. It sounds like there's a partnership dynamic that's
Absolutely.
and so
Great
how
word.
does that work with things like compliance, or how does that work with things like audits and whatnot?
So the WPMA provides a template for you to start the process. So they basically give you the template and say, these are the things that you need to focus on as you're going through the certification registration process. And so they're there to answer any of your questions. They're there to hold your hand through the process. They're there to make it an easy transition for you into this facet of the industry. And so, like I said, once you dedicate that person within your company, in our company, it's our purchaser, and she's responsible for you know 85 to 90% of the tasks. Now, as the owner, I have final oversight, and she brings everything to me before it gets sent out. But she's the one that's dedicated within our company. It's not a full-time job. I think that the people run away from it because they're afraid of the whole process. I mean, and so with once you dedicate that person and that person's on board and they understand, it takes a little bit of time, but Michelle and the other individuals at WPMA are there to answer any questions, to help you get the certification. And then, yes, there are audits along the way. In fact, we just submitted Friday our second quarter audit. And so, they're basically you're tracking inventory of stored materials that are FSC certified that are on the shop floor. It tracks waste of product. It tracks your inventory for product, and then for those items that are fabricated and into final product, it actually tracks out as well through your chain of custody.
Wow. Now, it sounds like to me then, so I'm trying to put it in my own words as someone who's like, if I'm thinking about signing up, it sounds like I have an administrative partner then. So in other words, the WPMA is kind of a strategic partner with me from an administrative side to help me along the way, as opposed to if I was just doing this on my own, which is kind of what you referenced earlier.
Absolutely. And and back to what I said from the beginning, to do this individually is very expensive. And so you're kind of going through the process by yourself with some help from the FSC to get you your certification. But we have successfully at WPMA been able to foster this program and facilitate with the different companies the process to make it easier for you. And so what I want to say, or what I would say is that the benefit of the FSC program through WPMA is very, very simple in comparison to having to do it by yourself. Not only simple, but a lot more cost effective. And so it allows you to bid jobs that you couldn't bid before. It allows you to have a step up on your competition, and it allows you to be a leader in an ever-changing industry.
That's huge. That is huge. And especially if you're growth minded, you have to have these avenues. This is powerful. If I wanted to start, how does it start? Then do I just contact the WPMA? Is
Absolutely.
where it goes?
Yeah. So I would contact the WPMA, talk to Michelle, and Michelle would get you set up with the right people. And then from there, they will, walk you through the process and get you certified. And the whole process, Kevin, takes about probably 30 days just from start to finish with the paperwork. And then once the paperwork's submitted, then they have to do an audit. We actually did the audit through FaceTime with the auditor to come through. Yes, perfect, user friendly. So walk through the facility, showed them the whole facility, talk through the paperwork, and then receive the certification. So it changes as a member of the FSC certification program. It changes your landscape as a business.
Wow.
And those are the type of things that make you different than your competition, especially when times are tough.
You bet.
So what you find is when the market starts to tighten up a little bit, people are looking for that advantage over their competition. And this is that advantage. It allows you to then, like I said earlier, bid jobs that other people can't bid. I'll get people that will call me up and say, I have to buy this material through you because you have a chain of custody.
Wow.
And what I say to them is, you can buy it through me, but I have to be the one that cuts it, and delivers it to you. You can't touch it. Once it comes to me, it's my responsibility through my chain of custody to provide it to you for finished product. And then if you're going to do something with it, you have to be certified. So, sometimes I've gotten a couple people that have ended up having to join the WPMA because they needed that chain of custody. And so, great, yeah, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the WPMA, and it's definitely a win-win for the customer.
Absolutely. Wow, George, that was a lot, but it was powerful. And I do think that if you're a business owner, you're considering doing this, just get a hold of the folks at the WPMA. They're going to help you. The team, Michelle and the team, is going to step up. They're going to just come right alongside you, walk you through the process, and get you engaged with this. And again, I think to George's point, we tend to be very compressed in our thinking when we talk about strategy and planning. I think this FSC certification is a strategic play, and you get the benefit of being part of an association of other people who are in that same boat with you, walking through this whole thing together. And George's firsthand just sharing, what advantage that is for him and his organization. I would just, as a outside guy who does anything about it, to me it sounds like a no-brainer. So I would highly, highly recommend it.
Kevin, it is a no-brainer. And the thing is then not only do you get the advantage of the certification, but you get the advantage of being a member of the WPMA.
Correct.
And as I said before, that's a priceless opportunity, especially with the type of industry that we are in and the camaraderie that we have with the WPMA and all the things that we're offered through being able to network and be together as an industry, share ideas, and better our businesses.
Couldn't say it better, George. George, thanks for being on it. The WPMA Shop Talk today. Great job. And for breaking down FSC, I'm FSC knowledgeable now. And so that's huge for me. And anyone out there, I'm sure, is going to benefit from this as well. George, thank you for your time. And thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And hey, it's wrapping up another edition of the WPMA Shop Talk. Hey, we're grateful that you're here with us. And hey, we want to see you at conference in September. Don't miss it. September 17th, 18th, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It'll be a party. Go to WPMA.org. Get signed up today. Get after it. And George, have a great day. Everybody, take care.
You too. Great being with you. Thanks, Kevin.